Welcome to the latest episode of the B Movie Club. I'm your host, Kevin. This week we'll be discussing the 1984 action thriller classic, Cloak Dagger, starring Henry Thomas, Dabney Coleman. It's an all-star cast. For those of you joining us for the first time, each week on the B Movie Club, I discuss certain guilty pleasures and forgotten classics of the past. You can go ahead and go to our page on Facebook, Original B Movie Club, and give us the big thumbs up. Also go to our page on YouTube at KD9575. Hit the subscribe button, it's totally free. You can also follow me on Twitter at the B Movie Club. There you have it. Don't forget to spread the word, let all your friends and neighbors, let them all know. Let strangers on the street know. You know what I'm saying? Cloak and Dagger. In this, Davy Osborne is a young child with an active imagination. He plays a lot of role-playing games. Hey, don't we all? Including one specific one called Cloak and Dagger, where he plays a secret agent, James Bond type, character named Jack Flack. And there's also a video game that he plays, also called Cloak and Dagger, starring Jack Flack. Jack Flack, like I said, is a secret agent who is basically indestructible. He can handle any challenge. He can take care of the Russians, the Nazis, whatever. He's your guy. Davy has an imaginary friend, Jack Flack, also. So whenever he goes around, he's pretending to be on secret missions with his little friend from down the road. They're talking to each other on walkie-talkies. Jack Flack, his imaginary friend, will pop up and kind of encourage him and give him advice and things like that. I don't know if that's healthy or what. You have an imaginary friend. This kid's like 9 years old or something. Do they have imaginary friends that age? Hey, maybe they do. I don't know. They also have a little friend, Morris, who works at the local gamekeeper store where they sell video games and role-playing games and things like that. So Morris sends these Davy and his little friend on a secret mission to go get the latest catalog from a toy manufacturer and pick up a box of Twinkies because he's hungry. So with all undue seriousness, Davy's in there calling his friend, Lady Ace, come in. While they go to this building, they take their bus passes to get to the toy manufacturing company. I don't know what they do there. While he's there, he accidentally witnesses a murder. And the guy, as he's about to be killed, hands him a Cloak and Dagger video or a game cartridge for the Atari 5200. Says, don't give it to anybody. Don't let them get you. So Davy has now witnessed a murder. And the guy, the evil bad guys, see that he's the one with the cartridge. So they're after him. And of course, he's a kid with a fertile imagination. No one believes that he actually saw a murder. He's telling the cops, they're like, yeah, whatever, guy. Whatever you say, big guy. He tells his dad. His dad is a single father. I guess the mother died within the last year or so. And, he has kind of a contentious relationship with his son, kind of a stereotypical older father, kind of like, I don't know how to relate to my young crazy. So Davy and his dad have kind of this contentious relationship. He's kind of the older father who is having difficulty relating to his younger son who plays video games and Dungeons and Dragons all day. Hey, it's a common problem, okay? So he doesn't understand, so it's all sorts of things going on there. So he brings the cartridge, which is the Cloak and Dagger cartridge, ironically, to Morris, who's the smartest guy he knows. And Morris opens up the cartridge and sees there's an extra microchip. he starts playing the video game on his Atari, and basically figures out, gets to a point where there's a screen opens up and there's secret plans for a stealth bomber. Sadly, the evil spies, the bad guys who murdered the other guy, have kidnapped Davy's friend from down the road and are saying, if you don't bring us the cartridge, they'll be end of her. So they agree to meet at the historic sunken Japanese gardens in San Antonio, where this story takes place, to do the swap. Davy double-crosses them. He hands them just a regular Cloak and Dagger disc, not the special one. But that's okay, because they were going to double-cross him anyway, so they try to grab him after giving him the disc. So, I don't want to spoil everything that happens. There's a lot of twists and turns. Okay, a lot of things going on here. A lot of Jack Flack appearing and adding comic relief. So there you have it. This movie came out in 1984. Initially, it was a part of a double feature with The Last Starfighter, which is another movie with kind of video game tie-ins. And then it was released later that year as a solo act. Basically, the makers of this movie contacted Atari, because at that time they would make those kind of video game tie-ins to movies. They were already working on a video game that they called Agent X, and when they heard about this Cloak and Dagger movie, they changed it, so okay, instead of Agent X, it's going to be Cloak and Dagger. And it actually was released in video arcades very limitedly. I mean, they show pictures of it in the movie, like Morris is playing the video game. And I don't think I ever saw that in arcades. In '84, I would have been in video arcades looking at stuff, and I don't remember ever seeing it. Now, they talked about a cartridge for the Atari 5200, and they were developing it, but around '84, there was the video game crash that occurred, whereas basically people stopped buying a bunch of these home video game systems at that time. Atari got sold, all the stuff. So the home version of the game was never actually finished. So a lot of people have an issue with this movie. They think it's just a 2-hour commercial for the Atari 5200 system. Hey, maybe. Could be. Right? It can't hurt. In this movie, you got Dabney Coleman. Dabney Coleman plays Hal Osborne, Davy's dad. But he also plays Jack Flack, the secret agent, imaginary friend who pops up and talks to Davy all the time. I mean, it's like the transformation is just shocking. The difference between these two performances, not really. They basically just put a beret on him and say, okay, now you're Jack Flack. I mean, it's the same character. What can I say? Different lines, but here's a leather jacket and a beret. Now you're Jack Flack. Good times. Dabney Coleman's not the chameleon that we all wish he was. Dabney Coleman was huge for about 6 years there in the late 70s and the early 80s. He was in everything. He was in On Golden Pond. He was in 9 to 5. You couldn't throw a rock without hitting Dabney Coleman at least 3 times. So there you have it. Henry Thomas, who we know prior to this was the star of E.T. Hey, hey, hey. He was actually from San Antonio where this movie was filmed. So I don't know if that was a choice they made or if he just had school he had to attend. But yeah. And he went on to star in some other things as well. Again, he was big for a few years there. One thing I liked about this movie, it has yet another appearance from former NFL linebacker turned movie actor Tim Rossovich, who plays one of the evil assassins who are chasing poor Davy. You might remember him. He was in a few other movies, but his younger brother actually had greater success in the film. Rick Rossovich, who you might remember, he was in Terminator, he was in Top Gun, he was in quite a few other things. You couldn't, again, you couldn't go to see 2 movies in a row without seeing Rick Rossovich and Dabney Coleman, for that matter, hanging out together. So there you go. There's a sequence in the movie where the evil assassins come to Davy's house to get him. And I know Tim Rossovich is a big guy, but they literally have him just like smashing through doors. There's a French door, he just jumps right through it. You could have tried the knob, pal, first, okay? And then he like punches through a door to get... It's like, okay, is he the Hulk? Come on. Nobody's going to be like, I'm smashing through this Hulk smash. So, good times. This script was written by Todd Holland, who went on to write and direct Fright Night, another classic that we love here at the B Movie Club. All of the scripts he wrote at this time all dealt with a young person where they discover somebody's trying to kill them and no one will believe them. See, there's that parallel. See, this is an important plot point. So there you have it. This movie's funny because it's clearly, I mean, the main protagonist is like a young boy, right? So, you know, at that age, when I went and saw this movie, I really appreciated that. Looking back at it now, it's really kind of weird, where it's like the protagonist is a young guy, so it's a kid's movie, ostensibly. However, there are literally assassins with machine guns. People get killed in this movie. You know, there's a long old monologue where the evil guy, Rice, has an Uzi, and he's like, I'm going to shoot you in the stomach and turn you into shredded meat. And I'm like, are kids supposed to be watching this movie? What kind of movie is this? So it's kind of like, you know, walks that fine line between, okay, it's a kid's movie versus it's a movie for adults. Because it's a pretty heady plot that's going on here. There's spies, there's secret plans, but then it's like the central character is a kid with an imaginary friend. I don't know. It's hard to say. I enjoyed it. I watched it recently. I hadn't seen it in 25 years. I still enjoy it. I think it's fun. Now, granted, playing video games and Dungeons and Dragons and things like that appeals to me on a special level. But I think it's still pretty good. It holds up. So, just my opinion. It currently has a 69% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's something, right? It is still streaming instantly on Netflix, so rush out and see it if you haven't seen it. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it for younger kids. I mean, it's not, you know, it's not bloody or gory or anything, but it's just people getting killed. I mean, I'm not going to sit down and watch it, you know, with my young kids. Or maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe I'm just that kind of guy. What can I tell you? Check it out. Let me know what you think. Send me any favorite scenes, favorite quotes, any comments or questions, and maybe we'll talk about it on the show. We'll see. Next week, we're moving away from this genre into the comedy genre. Good times. The immortal Keanu Reeves classic, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, streaming instantly on Netflix. Rush out, see it, let me know what you think. If you have any other movie suggestions, anything else you want to get off your chest, you can reach me on our page on Facebook, Original B Movie Club. Give us the thumbs up. You can reach us on our page on YouTube, KD9575. Subscribe, it's totally free. And you can follow me on Twitter at The B Movie Club. As you know, I end every episode with a totally out of context quote. And here it is. Jack Black always escapes. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Next week, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Be well.